Welcome everyone to Basic Golf Clash. This is Cole Steady coming at you with another video. Today we're going to do a walkthrough through the Oasis 9-hole cup in Expert using only a basic ball and higher level clubs. Now just to let you know, if you're going to attempt to play an Expert using only a basic ball, you can plan on only getting possibly a -11 and up just because of how difficult the distance of the holes are. So if you're really shooting for trying to get -13 and up, more than likely you have to use specialty balls. But I'm going to show you this walkthrough where you can get easily a -11, even a -12, possibly a -13 if you play absolutely perfect. And I apologize because I only have 2 accounts that I'm playing in Expert, so it was tough to come up with some good highlights, but at least you can see the adjustments I'm going to have to make when it comes to the final round. So at least this walkthrough will show you how to save a lot of your specialty balls, so when you place in the final round, you'll be able to gain a lot more specialty balls to play in the match play. So let's go. Hole number 1, extra mile, level 7 and up. You're going to do a 2-to-1 adjustment, max topspin. I just like to push up to max overpower just to make sure I'm centered. You can see right there. Then I adjust my 2-to-1 rings, which is basically 5.5. Once you do the 5.5, make sure you're at max distance. Now I do apply a little bit of curl and overpower, but with a little bit of curl just to make sure that it doesn't hook, but you don't really have to. But the overpower is crucial. If you have a higher extra mile, you won't have to do that much overpower just because you have more topspin. But with only a level 7 topspin, I had to apply a little bit more just to make sure I get over that ridge to set myself up for my next shot. Shot number 2, your big dog. You're going to go 4 bars of backspin, push your club up to max if you have a 7. If anything higher, then just kind of look where my rings are, where you're going to want to center it. Once you set up with that, you're going to do 2-to-1 adjustment plus 10%. So I just call it 1.2 for 10%, so 13.5. So that's going to be just under 7 rings. And you'll see I do hit it great left, but if I do hit it perfect, it's going to line up perfectly. So just make sure you're set up straight at it, no curl, no overpower, just hit it perfect. You'll see my ball just kind of hits. You'll have plenty of room, even if you hit great right, but rolls right up there. It's a very, very makeable first hole for your albatross. Hole number 2, very tough par 4, but it's definitely, you could definitely get really close, if not sink this shot. So it goes extra mile, level 7 and up. I go 2 bars of topspin. Then I go ahead and do a 2-to-1 adjustment on 11 wind, so that's basically going to be 5.5 rings. Once you're set on there, you're going to apply this amount of curl just to get it to push over, because if you don't, it will go left, and that ridge kind of drops off real quick on the left side to drop you down into the sand or rough. So apply a little bit of curl there, it'll just roll right up. That's about where you want to be for your second shot. Second shot, big dog. You're going to go. Now I do 3 bars of backspin. I'm going to suggest you go 2.5, maybe even 2 and a little of backspin, just because I don't get all the way up to the hole. Also, you're going to want to apply just a little bit of curl. Now I don't apply curl on this, and you'll see that it kind of veers to the left. Now you do want to aim to the right of the hole. It's deceiving because right when you get to the shot, I've made this shot before, but you have to make sure you're to the right a little bit of the hole because it'll curve back left. Now I do a 2-to-1 adjustment, so 5.5 rings. Like I said, I do it straight up. You want to apply just a little bit of curl and just, I would say 2.5 bars of backspin. You'll see it hits right about there. So if you want to move away a little bit, that's okay. Just move it a little bit more to the left, just to give yourself some safety. But it's definitely a makeable shot. Hole number 3. Now I'm well aware there's a rough bump. I don't suggest you go on the left island, but it's just too risky for me to do the rough bump, so I just do a safety shot here. Now if you have a higher level Goliath or something with more curl, that would be suggested, but this I do a 2-to-1 adjustment. I do max backspin, so 6.5 rings, and then I do max curl. Now my higher level Goliaths do have more curl, so even if I hit great left, I'm still safe. You can see it still hits perfectly, but hitting perfect and having a lot more curl, it can roll on down there to give you an easy birdie. Hole number 4, one of the hardest par 4s in the whole game, in my opinion. This one you have no choice but to lay up and try and go for a short iron make. Now, basically with this one, it's a 2-to-1 adjustment plus 10%. So I go just a little over 6 rings. I do max topspin, but I pull it back far enough to where I'm just trying to lay up. Be careful not to go too far up because this will take off on you and roll into the bunker. You can still be able to lay up, but not you'll be with a wood instead of a short iron. So make sure you just kind of lay up right in this area. You don't have to apply the curl if you don't want to. Now with the second shot, big dog. Now I think about it for a second of doing a power slice with topspin. I think about it, but it's just this wind is awful. So if it was different wind going some tailwind, then I would give it a chance. But unfortunately, it's coming at me, so I just basically decided to lay up. So you just do max backspin or whatever wood you got. Just make sure you're up there. I just give it some overpower just to make sure I'm comfortably up there. Because again, it's with almost 12 wind, it's gonna really die on you. So you just want to make sure you're right in the middle of that island, and it'll set you up for a short iron. Which on this shot, I actually, well, you'll see, even with a great right, it still gets up there, sits right in the middle. Try to line yourself straight up to use your short iron. Third shot, I use my thorn, max backspin. I'm gonna try and do the roll back into it. At first, I think I can do the thing, but if you have a short iron with topspin, then you can probably pull that shot off. But if you got a thorn, a low level thorn, then I do a max backspin. Now I set up here. I'm well aware of the push that it takes left, so I kind of set it up just left of the hole, which I make the mistake of doing just a little too much. So just make sure you're a little bit closer, but still on the left side of that pin. Of the flag, and then I do a 2-to-1 adjustment plus 20%, so that's basically 13 wind. So 2-to-1 would be 6.5. You'll see it rolls up there nicely. It hits that little hill, comes on down. But if I just move it closer to the flag, then I'll get a nice easy drop with my thorn. Hole number 5, sniper. Now I'm well aware there's a rough bump that you can go down. I don't like that shot just because a lot of times it takes off on me. So a lot of times I just set up this way. Now this will get you close for an easy birdie. So your ball guideline, max backspin, you're going to put it right up to the fringe on that side and try to center yourself in the middle. Once you do that, you're going to do a 1-to-1 adjustment plus 10%, so 1.3, so basically 14.5 wind, so 14.5 rings, and then apply max curl. Even if you hit it great left or great right, you should still be fine. But obviously you want to hit it perfect. This slings right around, hits where you want it, kind of scoots right up there and just stops right for an easy birdie to head on to the next hole. Hole number 6. So you're going to do max topspin. You're gonna do a 2-to-1 adjustment, and then you're going to push back up to maximum distance. And after that, you are going to apply a little bit of curl and a little bit of overpower. You don't want to do a lot of overpower because this does take off on you. You don't want to risk hitting that second after basically the rough in between the second and third island. So you can see I set up the 2-to-1, add just a little overpower and a little bit of curl just to make sure I push it over. And the key, like I said, you don't want to push this up too far. So even with a 13 wind, now you will have to do a little more overpower if you have less wind. 13 is a high wind, but you can see it hits that and just bumps right up, sets you perfectly up for your next shot. Second shot, I use my sniper. You can get away with a big dog if you want. If you do use a big dog, do a 2-to-1 adjustment with 4 topspin. But with the sniper, you're going to do max topspin. Now you can see I push up 5 rings to where it actually goes down that hill. Now that's deceiving because it actually goes past it further. Now I do a 1-to-1 adjustment, but make sure when you push back up, you can see I do 14 rings. And instead of pushing up the 5 that showed that going in the hole, you're only going to push up 4. So take away 1 ring because it does scoot on you a little bit. So you can see right here, I just adjusted up 5 rings, which I should have only done 4. 5 is too much, but no curl, no overpower, just hit it perfect, and you'll see it roll on up, hit. I'm trying to get up to that hill where it just kind of sits on the hill and goes down, but it's an easy chip in anyway, but it also is makeable. Hole number 7, there's a couple ways to do this one. You can do a sniper or a big dog to get it up to the hole, but I'm going to show you the max backspin with a rocket. So what I do is I just line my orange ring to the left there. I put my max backspin, and then I do a 2 to 1 adjustment plus 20%. So you're looking at, for this one I do 6.5 rings, and then now I do apply curl, which I'm going to suggest you apply less curl than what I do. I put a half a ball, I call that half a ball, but I would actually only do just a smidge of curl, because you can see this does hook it too much. It hits where I want it to, but it does stop. You can see I have the distance, but it just curled too much to the right. Hole number 8. So this one isn't also a tough par 4 to eagle, but you can easily get the birdie. So what I do is I do max topspin, I center it, I bring it back some, but I make sure I'm centered right in that fairway. Then I do a 2 to 1 adjustment, push up, and then I apply some overpower and some curl. The curl that I use is just to make sure that I get over. Now my 2 to 1 is basically just a little over 6 rings. Then I push back up to make sure I'm at max distance. Apply my curl. It's almost like a max curl, and then I would say to the bottom. Now, even though with my overpower, I hit a little bit great left, but you're still safe. So even if I hit it perfect, I'm still going to be set up for the next shot to possibly make an eagle. Okay, so second shot, I had to use my other account's replay because for that account, the guy rage quit on me. So this is the shot that I have for this one. Now, I did come up shorter than I did on the first shot, so you'll have more of a straightaway shot, but you still will have to do some curl. So with this one, I line up with my yellow ring right there by the fringe. I do 2 bars of backspin, which I'm going to say maybe 1 bar backspin or none. Do a 2 to 1 adjustment, so 6.5 rings. And then I kind of just take a look to make sure that I'm not going to hit those trees. And then I apply my curl, which is basically max curl, to get it to push over. So you'll see with 2 bars of backspin, I do hit where I want it to hit. However, with the 2 bars of backspin, it just slows down and just doesn't get there. So just make sure you take off a bar or maybe both bars of backspin, and you'll roll right up there for possibly sinking an eagle. Hole number 9, very tough par 5 to reach in 2, but I'm going to show you how you can actually get there. So you're going to use a big topper. You're going to do max topspin. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just pushing it up to maximum distance, and then I'm looking at 2 to 1. So right there, I just check 2 to 1. Now if it's higher wind, then you're going to want to move down some just to make sure that your ball's going to land right at the outside of that white ring where I set up. So once you get it in that position, then you're going to do the same curl I do. You don't want to do max curl, but you want to just do enough here. The reason I do this shot is just it's a more dead shot to go at it. So even with a great shot, it still hits, but a perfect shot would have went up higher and would have rolled farther. But rolling right there is fine, just to hit the island to go for the green. Okay, second shot. So with the big dog, obviously I would have loved to have a higher big dog. I'm going to go on that island and do a hard curl. Now, unfortunately, I hit the ball great, and I don't put enough overpower, so I end up just sitting on that island. Now, if you hit this island with the maximum backspin, especially with the headwind, you should be either on the fringe or even on the green. So you'll see I do a 2 to 1 adjustment, and basically I just try to apply as much curl as you can, so max curl. And like I said, you got to do a little more overpower, but as you can see, hitting it great right is what cost me this one. So if I would have hit this perfect, it would have hit the island. So right here, it just kind of bumps. But I can still do a chip in, but unfortunately, I'd love to be closer and be up there on the fringe or possibly on the green to make this eagle. Okay, so that does it for the playthrough on Expert using only a basic ball. Hopefully I gave you some ideas. Again, I don't expect everyone to play a full round with a basic ball, but if you can utilize a basic ball on certain holes, especially if you're just trying to play for the eagle or trying to play for the birdie, it'll save you some specialty balls. So when you place for the final round, you'll be able to just collect positive specialty balls. So again, hopefully I gave you some ideas that will allow you to post at least a -11 or up just using a basic ball. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for future content. This is Cole Steady signing off, and good luck.